Please subscribe, and you can download this code from description below. In Python, you can create a variable that runs code by using a combination of functions and lambdas. This allows you to store executable code in a variable, which can be useful for various tasks like creating custom functions on the fly, implementing callbacks, or dynamic behavior. To create such a variable, you can follow the steps outlined in this tutorial. Here's how to create a variable that runs code in Python. Understanding Lambda functions. In Python, you can use Lambda functions to create small, anonymous functions. These functions can be assigned to variables and executed as needed. Lambda functions are especially handy when you want to define simple functions in a concise manner. Creating a variable that runs code. To create a variable that runs code, you can assign a Lambda function to the variable. The Lambda function can encapsulate the code you want to execute. You can then call this variable as if it were a regular function. Code example. Let's look at a code example that demonstrates how to create a variable that runs code. We'll define a Lambda function and assign it to a variable. In this example, we created a variable run_code, which is assigned a Lambda function that takes two arguments, x and y, and returns their sum. When we call run_code, 3, 5, it executes the Lambda function and returns the result, which is 3 plus 5, or 8. Use cases. There are various use cases for creating variables that run code. Some examples include additional considerations. You can assign more complex code or logic to your variable, depending on your requirements. The key is to use Lambda functions to encapsulate the code you want to run and then call the variable to execute it. Remember that using Lambda functions for more complex or lengthy code may not be the most readable or maintainable approach. In such cases, it's often better to define regular functions. In conclusion, you can create a variable that runs code in Python by using Lambda functions. This technique is handy for encapsulating small bits of code and executing them as needed. However, for more complex or reusable code, it's recommended to define regular functions for better code organization and readability. ChatGPT.